Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. We've just come out of a full moon, or just coming out of one, which was in Libra. This full moon for me felt really beautiful and quite cosmic actually. I feel like lots of connections and pathways were open for us to connect with our ancestors and source and really tap into love. I think for me this full moon, I really had been tapping into rest and the power of just taking some time out and recharging and going back into that sacred space. Where I'm at in Aotearoa, we are going into autumn, or we're in autumn, gonna go into winter. So it's getting a little bit colder, and I feel like naturally a lot of us are feeling potentially more just going within because of the change of seasons. And yeah, there have been a lot of strong winds as well, so that I guess is significant to me of the change, the potential for big change as well, which is really beautiful and something that I'm trying to take advantage of, and I guess encouraging everyone to take advantage of too. So yeah, I think with this reading we'll get into the energies for the week, and I guess just look at what we are being called to focus on, and then what else have I written down? Oh yeah, what we're moving into after this full moon, and I guess maybe what we can expect a little bit. So yeah. I think I'll start off with these Adinkra symbols. Source, Spirit, what guidance do you have for us, the collective, moving out of this Libra full moon? Source, Spirit, what guidance do you have for us, the collective, moving out of this Libra full moon? Okay, so we have the palm tree. Says the palm tree is a symbol of resourcefulness, as various products originate from it: wine, oil, wood, etc. And then we have when you climb a good tree. Comes from the proverb, when you climb a good tree you are given a push. A good deed attracts support. And there's time changes on the base of the deck. Yeah, so even just with these, I feel like sources, I guess, yeah, really trying to highlight this resourcefulness that we can tap into. For me, when I think of the palm tree, it's super sacred. It's a space of prayer. It's a space of connecting to source. And like this Adinkra says, there are so many different things that come from this source, and taking that perspective and looking at ourselves as an infinite resource, being connected to the highest source there is, whether that's God or the universe or spirit or source or whatever that manifests or is for you personally. There are reminders, I guess, this week that we don't have to do things the same way, and we can always tap into and switch up our energy when we desire, which I think is a part of alchemy, learning how to go inside. And even I'm thinking of that reclusiveness or that kind of energy that it was a little bit hermity that I was talking about earlier, of feeling like because the seasons are changing, it's time for us to, we might just be feeling a little bit more wanting to be within our space or having alone time. And also because we are going into Taurus season, I think tomorrow actually, or the day after that, Taurus is naturally about the home and family and comfort and what feels good and smells good. The senses, what tastes good. But yeah, I feel like Source is really reminding us of how connected we are to them and that infinite energy and that infinite creativity. There's always another way to do things if something isn't working, and I think some of us need to be reminded of that this week. And maybe there will be a chance for us for that kind of to be tested, or like for things to come up where we are able to redefine ourselves, or the ways in which we produce things, create things, even just being a part of things. Like, I feel like Source is saying some of us also may have the desire to show up differently or feel a lot different than we have before. So if that's the case as well, Source is really encouraging any like transformation I feel like that any of us are undergoing, and reminding us of the seasonal changes as well. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, I think there is quite a major seasonal change in most spaces. And yeah, I feel like there's also a reminder of that, to change with the seasons. And if we are unsure of how to switch things up, or unsure of where to look for inspiration, Sources telling us to go into ourselves. With a good deed, like when you climb a good tree, yeah, Source is really supporting us this week and holding us, especially for those that feel like get a little bit discouraged this week, or feel, well, for everyone, but in particular those that are feeling a bit low within their creativity or their work, or within what they can provide, or feel like they have to, or feel like you have to offer. Yeah, this is kind of surrounding like what we feel like we are capable or able, or capable of giving. Yeah, so Source is really supporting us, especially with the things that are thankless. So those jobs or those tasks, or the healing, or the time you have to spend on yourself that doesn't really get recognized by anyone else. Those are the things that Source is affirming and supporting us in, and protecting us in, and also encouraging us in. I feel like Source is reminding us, if this is something that we have been doing already, there's a lot of encouragement, and I guess I kind of hear Source being like, good, like, well done, good job, and continuing to push us forward into our creative projects and our creative ideas, or the things that we are a part of, or desiring, nurturing within ourselves. Yeah, there are also reminders this week to really remember that we are also sacred space, and treat our bodies as such as well, and looking at ourselves as the palm tree. Rooted, grounded. When I think of the palm tree and look at these branches and leaves, I think of how like outstretched its arms are, and how it's just kind of basking in the light of Amuria, of the sun, of Source, and how tall and above everything else palm trees can be. So Source is really encouraging our growth and allowing giving us permission to grow and stretch out a little further and expand our territory, however that. And yeah, reminding us that the things that we do that other people can't potentially see, we won't get a thank you for or a pat on the back for. Source is giving that to us now. And I guess with times change at the base of the deck, yeah, I guess there's just reminders that everything is moving in cycles and seasons again, and to not get too caught up in one season as well. And I feel like really releasing judgment for self and the transitions that we go through individually. It's important for us to remind ourselves, I think, this week that we're all going through different transitions and movements, because the movement is what determines time, or our individual dance as humans is what determines time, or how we map time. And so I think that Source is reminding us that we all have our own individual movements and different time frames and rhythms that work for each and every one of us within the collective, and that's okay. And so I feel like Source is really calling us to, if some of us are feeling a little bit stronger this week or more supported, it's important for us to, I feel, also give that support. So if you have friends or family, or there's someone that you feel called to support in some way by just listening to them or having conversation, or, I don't know, providing them with something, or whatever you feel called to do, Source is really encouraging that this week. And this goes back to the resources. So I feel like Source is reminding us as well that there are different ways in which we can give and even receive, especially if some of us are battling a little bit with self-worth, or maybe, especially with an Aries season, hadn't been feeling very motivated or something like that. I feel like Source is just saying there are so many different ways in which we as humans give and receive, and to not self-limit, especially through the mind or negative self-talk, might be something to release this week. And to know that time, coming back to this, that time changes. So every season and cycle will end and you will enter into a new one. So whether you're at a high or a low, just be mindful and aware that other people are going through other circumstances, and that whatever you're in isn't particularly going to be permanent, because life just flows and time changes and our movements change, because we're not stagnant or meant to be stagnant beings anyway. What I think is really beautiful as well at the base of the deck now is Adinkra, which is the king of the Adinkra symbols, symbolizes leadership and charisma. And I feel like with this, Source is reminding us this week that we really have the power and potential to lead ourselves through into whatever environments that we need to go into. I feel like trust is a big thing, and it's important for us to step into that mindset of trust, and trusting that we have everything that we need and we are able to create everything that we need, or a solution, or because of that infinite wealth and resourcefulness that we actually do have within our creativity as a part of Source itself, if that makes sense, or as a part of the universe and as a part of the earth too. Okay, I'm going to pull some tarot cards. think some of us this week really need to accept change and accept that things are shifting and changing, because some of us may have some blocks there. Some herbs for that and surrender, some like really simple like herbs that anyone can get access to would probably be thyme. Thyme is really good for surrendering to divine timing and change. Courage as well. And I'm also seeing rosemary, which might be a herb that people would like to use for cleansing. So like drying that for burning is really good for cleansing space. That was also something that I was feeling, which I'm not sure if I mentioned, but it's a really good week with the winds, the strong winds that have been around to cleanse space and clear out old energy. So if there's any stagnant energy within self, within emotions, within the mind, especially the thoughts and the things in which we speak over ourselves, I feel like, yeah, it's a good week to release those. So even writing those things down, that can just be simply, I release this thought pattern, or I release this fear or anxiety, or and if you want to take it a step further, you can burn that piece of paper. But you can also just rip it up and chuck it out or something. Is a like really easy spell for releasing. Something else that I see some of us doing is going outside and speaking into the wind, which is a really beautiful thing or way to release, because you can feel your voice being carried, if that makes sense. And yeah. So elements this week definitely are air. And yeah, earth. Source Spirit, what collective guidance do you have for us? What are we being called to focus on this week? Source. What are we being called to focus on this week? Source Spirit. What are we being called to focus on this week? Cool, we have 3 of water and the moon. With the air element on the base of the deck. There we go. Yes, 3 of water speaks to me again about time. This is also a Neptune card, and there are some major, I think it's Jupiter and Neptune in conjunction in Pisces. I'm not too sure if that's right, but I know there's a big shift happening at the moment with Neptune and Pisces and that kind of energy. And so I feel like within this, and also within this full moon that we've just gone out of, there's really been a shift or an unlocking of something collectively, that we all have the desire to, or that we all have the we can all tap into if we want. And this is really speaking to me of that. There are a few messages. So I feel like this week there may be some things that will be revealed to us. There might be some things that come up within friendship groups or something like that. And some clear communication within that. So allow that to come up if that's something. Yeah, because the moon can kind of represent like illusional things that are being hidden. Yeah, we have fairies and sylphs as well, so it's real important for us to use our discernment this week when it comes to that. There's the potential, I feel, for like some people to be like deceived within friendship in particular. So just be mindful of that this week if that resonates. But yeah, I also feel like this is just talking about the full moon that just passed. And there's been like a real unlocking of time and the potential for us to move into a space of like lightness and joyfulness and play. And again, it's making me think more of that reclusive energy, or being really in touch with the intuition and the emotions. And so Source is really wanting us to tap into our intuition this week and listen and go within and listen to, I guess, that voice, however it comes through within us, and also our emotions. What emotions are we feeling as we are shifting out of this season, even shifting out of just last week? Yeah, I think writing will also be a really big thing for some of us this week. So yeah, scripting, journaling. And I think that this will really help us focus and build as we identify some unhidden things within our intuition or self and emotions. So really listen in, I guess, this week, fam, and use your discernment to look deeper into the what's changing and even certain things that might potentially be hidden, because I feel like within the emotions, because I feel like these things are really going to help us actually, or be inspired to build or create what we want to create that's a little bit more sustainable for us. So we also have 8 of Earth, which is a little bit more focused on future. It's a slow building, but it's very dedicated and not really focused on any distractions that are going on. Yeah, so I guess with these cards, we're being called to enter into playfulness and joyfulness within the time that is shifting. Listen to our intuition. Keep an eye on like any illusions or secrets and stuff that might come up this week, and really use your discernment when it comes to your connections in general. And I think it's important for us to really frame things in a way of focus on the future, and what we are building for ourselves and generationally, as the seasons are changing, and what to really push out, what is a distraction, what isn't beneficial for us, and using our discernment to do so. So yeah, fam, I think I'll leave that there. I hope that resonates with some of you, and yeah, that you all have a really beautiful rest of your week.